are live. You are live. What is going on, everybody? RogersBase here. Hello and welcome to my big Sunday One Piece live reaction stream. Today we're going to be reading One Piece manga chapter 1147 for the first time and watching One Piece anime episode 1127 for the first time. Now, as many of you know, or some of you might not know if you didn't tune into last week's stream, I am now doing both the anime and the manga reactions in the same stream. We are turning these Sunday streams into a One Piece content celebration. We're live for like two and a half hours. It's going to be a good time. Welcome, everybody. Already seeing a lot of people in the chat. We got Blood Aura, we got Heidi, we got Stefan, we got Scott, we got Rob, we got Veronica. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm also seeing on Twitter, people are saying that the new episode is actually quite good, so I am very excited to watch that one. And of course, I'm excited to read 1147. Now, I've heard that this chapter afterwards we're going to be going on a break, so I know there's going to be some people asking like what's going to be going on with the stream next week. Are you still going to be doing one? The answer is yes, we will be doing one next week, but it'll just be the anime episode reaction, and then if it's not particularly good or whatever, we'll just put the VOD on the VOD channel and call it a day. But we will still be live on Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's something that I talked about in my recent episode of Touch Base, something I talked about in my recent Roger Rambles as well. I am making a concerted effort to be live multiple times during the week at the same time every week. And I know sometimes I end up having like a replacement thing on Sundays when there isn't a One Piece chapter, but now officially I am doing both. It's going to be a stream no matter what. We're going to be live talking One Piece no matter what on Sundays, unless of course I'm out of town or something. Additionally, I want to give a shout out on this stream over to the team over at Mighty Jacks, because if you see this, check this out. Look at this, look at this, look at this. They sent me one of the new Franie's Hidden Dissectables. I actually did a short of this a couple months ago for the Wano set, but this is the entire collection of the Admirals. So we're going to be opening this on stream a little bit later too. So hello and welcome, everybody. We are getting started with One Piece manga chapter 1147. This one is titled What We Are Afraid Of. Kicking things off, volume 32. We got Raizo in the mix now. Okay. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, volume 32, thanked by Raizo, daimyo of Udon. And you can see them sharing some onigiri. Tama giving a little bit of a hug. You can see the angry Who's Who people back there holding up the Who's Who, helmets. You can see also a crack in the window from over there as well, probably coming off of the immense hockey that Yamato showed when taking down Who's Who. But we're good. We're getting somewhere. This is good. All right, 1147. Here we go. So, and we're picking up right where we left off last week then with the stuff with Saul. Okay. Stay hidden, Robin and Chopper. I've seen him before. He's a holy knight. They're immortal. You simply can't beat him. Well, I guess that means there were two survivors of Ohara then. Hide and wait for your chance to save the kids. The Navy sure did a sloppy job here. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. And you can see him rustling. He knows something's up. Robin and Chopper are staying in Saul's hair, but Summers is like, something's going down. He sees the little, Gunko, you caught the Straw Hat crew then, right? Are you going to take them with us? And he's holding up the little Den Mushi. Don't be stupid, Summers. Are you two trying to make Straw Hat Luffy furious? Let's just fulfill the mission and go home. All right. Poor Saul's been tormented, and we let Colin get kidnapped. How could you let this happen, Jinbei? So we got Nami, Jinbei, Usopp, and Brook over here. Stop shouting, all right? I'm trying to come up with a plan. But what are these powers anyway? That chick is scary. I thought I was going to die. I feel like there's something about that woman, but it might just be my imagination. And you can see the little spike going right into him. He's going, ah! Yeah, it's her, the zombie girl. All right, so more of Gunko. Let's see. Man, kicking down on Brook. I'm surprised she's doing this to Brook, considering we know she's a fan of Brook's. We know that from what happened before, where she had the headphones. She was listening to his song. So he's slamming on down. What? Listen up, you. I want you to write songs for me for the rest of your life. You're going to be my slave. Huh? How does she know about Brook's music? A celestial dragon who's a fan of Soul King? This sounds like a nightmare of a fan. Weren't we literally just watching a show the other day talking about like evil fans. Oh, no, 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 no. We weren't. I was recording an episode of the Shonen Flop podcast because we were reading a flop shonen series that you guys are going to find out a little bit later. We were recording an episode of that, and we were talking about like fans and fan interactions and stuff like that. That's right. All right. You're going to be my slave. So she's kicking down on Brooke, and he's going, huh? Now knock it off, Gunko. I don't want to fight with one of the four emperors either. Let's just go and do our job. So they said, we want nothing to do with Luffy and the Straw Hats. Leave them be. We don't want to do any of this. I'm quite sorry, young lady, but from the day that Captain Straw Hat Luffy bestowed me my second life, I've been dedicated to no one but him. So what if I said I would kill you? Well, I would rather die than live without honor, said Brooke. Look out, Brooke. Boom, you can see the arrow swinging around, stabbing right into him. Brooke, are we good now, Killingham? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Check. Can you hear me, Elbaf? Come in, warriors of Elbaf. Who is that? What kind of message is this? I'm sure you're all busy scrambling to deal with the, strange events unfolding around you. But that was our doing. I am a dagger sent straight from sacred Marijoa. I am Summers of the Holy Knights. And so his declaration over this pillbox transporter snail is going all throughout Elbaf. You can see the giant nightmare cryptids walking around, this dog with spider legs that I don't believe we've seen before. Very creepy looking creature. You've got this like dragon thing back there, the skull. All right, Craftsman Village, Southeast Sunworld. Marijoa? So wait a minute, he's from the world government? Why would they do this? Captains, they're sending this message all over Elbaf. So they've revealed who they are. Are the children safe? And you can see Craftsman Village, Huntsman Village. They're hearing it everywhere. This one's in Northwest Elbaf. Oh, that's not okay. I thought that was Panda Man for a second. I saw the little bear on the top. It's not. He's saying, basically, Summers is saying over the intercom, as I'm sure you've realized all over Elbaf, we have taken 10 of your children as hostages. And on top of that, we have reduced an orange-bearded man to a bloody mess for the crime of pursuing us from the school in an attempt to flee the children. Also, that is super interesting and weird. I didn't realize that on the earlier panel. Summer's thorns have like a snake head on the top of them. So his thorns are quite literally coming alive. That's kind of cool. How does that work, though? And you can see them going, Mr. Saul, so the people at the school know that it's him. In other words, while you blithely assumed that someone else was going to do the rescuing for you, the children have continued to march towards the goal. And they're going, Saul, no! The game's only getting started, but it's just a shame that we can't use video. Can you name all the children who marched out of here? Well, of course. Then let their parents know that it's time for the twerps to wake up from their dream. Okay. You can see them waking up. How come we're just marching along like this? Where are we going? What's happening? I don't know, but we're already far away. That's not true. This is branch 8. We're on the way back. Yeah, but it looks like we can't control our feet. So they're aware of the fact that they're walking, but they didn't know that they're, what they're doing. Why can't we go home? I want to see Mom. I want to see Dad. We're kidnapped. That means we can't see them. So now Colin's in the very front of them. So that explains what was going on with him. Meanwhile, what is that in the middle? They're all screaming, stop whining, I'm here. And unlike you, crybaby weaklings, I am a warrior. So Colin's right in front, but right as you get these giant nightmare monsters descending on them, they're like, come on, save us, Colin. And he's simply screaming, ah! Trying to get out of there. He was trying to be brave, but unfortunately, yeah, nothing really happened there. All right. It sounds like they took out Saul. Turn us around. We need to go save the kids. Captains, there's a hole in the Blige, and we've broken oars. Damn, what kind of freakish beast is that? I don't know, some sort of woman monster? Oh, that's probably the kid who said it was their mom. The kid who said their nightmare was their mom. This is probably that. I don't know, it's some kind of woman monster. Looks kind of like my wife a little bit. Watch out, she's going to beat you over the head for saying that. No, that other one definitely looks like my wife. What? These monsters all came from the children's worst fears, right? Your wife is Bent's mom, right? Mm-hmm. So Bent was asked to imagine what he was most afraid of. And the answer was mommy. Huh? That's my worst fear too. And you got these two giant nightmare moms stabbing into the ship. One of them holding down the mast, the other one stabbing onto the cannons, and they're all just screaming. Meanwhile, you got the spider dog looking onwards too. Dory and Broggy are freaking out by this. We can't fight here. Our morale is getting hammered, and they're all screaming once again. That does make for a really funny shot though, with the moms holding it down. All right. I'm sorry for always going out drinking, dear. I'm sorry for forgetting to take out the trash, dear. Please, I apologize. They're all apologizing to the nightmare wives. I'm sorry for eating the honey cake that was for the guests. Captains, please, they're ripping off the island clouds. We're gonna fall. Well, I'll save it. Gee-ha-ha! The giant pirate ship has crashed. So much for their bluster. Some of those sleep tids were honestly real beasts, and the kids' chances of rescue are dwindling by the minute. Now, Beard Hill Jarl, warrior of legend, it's finally time for us to talk. You mean Dory and Broggy are down? With no king on the throne, you're the boss around here. All right, so we know where this is going. You must be joking. The giant pirates far crashed? Well, I sure hope they're all right. Come on, let's hurry. Our goal here is quite simple. To make you giants our slaves in battle. The next step is to find out how effective these kids will be as hostages. Now, I bet you're all wondering whose kids our 10 hostages are, right? And you can see now we're getting a giant map of Elbaf. You can see Ripley and Frankie's group, Dory and Broggy and Scopper, Jarl over in the Western Village getting talked to over by Summers. You got Summers and Gunko in the middle section with the Straw Hat Pirates and Saul. The kids a little further down the branch. It's still crazy to me, too, that like all of this is happening on literally one branch of Elbaf. All of the action is right there on one little branch of the tree. That's why, like, it is strange because obviously, well, again, I'll save it. I'm going to save my thoughts. I'll save my thoughts for the review. I'm still reacting. I'll save my thoughts for the review. We got the library and the school down there, too. Okay, so here we go. The next step is to find out how effective these kids are going to be as hostages. And I'm wondering whose kids our 10 hostages are. All right. The names of the children who were kidnapped. Ylva. You can see, Ylva, that's my granddaughter's granddaughter. So she's directly related to Jarl. Next is Scaldi. Is there anything we can do for ourselves? Olav. It's a dream. It's a dream. That's my grandson, Captain. Uh-oh. Karen. I always have the worst luck. Mag. I'm supposed to be strong, but I can't be stopped. Ronja. Don't worry. It'll all work out. All right. Why did it have to be my kid, though? Branch 8, come on. I'm on my way. Bent. So this is Bent, the one who's afraid of his mom, saying, Mommy's going to be mad at me. Johanna. Well, at least you have parents. And she's also got the horns, so that's kind of interesting. And Bjorn. Can't at least I be saved? And Bjorn kind of looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He's got a super long head with the long hair as well. Now that makes 9. But just now, hoping to save his friends. Oh, okay. And this is going to be how Scopper gets into action then. All right, hoping to save his friends. And Ripley too, I guess, because that's Ripley's kid too. What'd you just think I just did, Bjorn? Sorry. So just now, hoping to save his friends, a little warrior named Colin showed up to join the group. That officially makes 10. You can see Ripley going, Colin, what? Did you hear that, Ripley? Our son's a hero. Now's not the time. So Scopper's not even worried. He's just proud. He's like, this is great. And now our commands. Heed them closely, Elbaf. Okay. Your school is completely useless in war, and your library is packed full of pointless records of the past. You will burn them down right now and swear fealty to us. We got the second burning of O'Hara, essentially, then. If you do not, we will eliminate the brats one at a time. You can see all of them just screaming, help us! What are they talking about? Well, we know where the kids are, so come on, let's go and save them. I want to smash these guys. You are the one who has to make the call, Chief Jarl. And Jarl's like, me? And he's got the thing still stuck in his head. Please, wait, that's too cruel. The school is the symbol of Elbaf's current state of peace. And the library is full of Elbaf's ancient history, as well as the knowledge of the world, saved through the sacrifice of O'Hara's scholars. It's a fortune that belongs to more than just Elbaf. Calm down, lady. Robin, please, you can't. Please, Mr. Ya. You got it. And the two of them are running. And you can see Robin getting into action. Gabon getting into action. I won't let them do this. Oh, and that's the end of the chapter. Oh. We're done. That's it. Okay. I won't let them do this. You got Robin and Gabon leaping into action. And that is that. All right. It was okay. It was all right. I feel like that's kind of been the trend the past couple of weeks. I'm like, this has been all right. I think, I guess review time. Here's the thing. I don't necessarily know, unless it becomes like a really important plot point, the names of these kids and their families. I don't know if that was worth spending 2 whole pages on just the name of each kid and then the face and one line. I think some of these, it makes sense. I think Ilva makes a lot of sense. She's the granddaughter of Jarl. I think, the Joanna one's interesting. She's an orphan that still has her war horns, so that's going to be interesting too. But I kind of feel like a lot of this felt a little bit like unnecessary setup. I think like the gag with the wives was funny, with like the moms and the wives, the little angry, the nightmare wives. That was kind of funny. But for the most part, we had more of the children walking. We had Summers, I guess, with the snake thorn thing. That's kind of cool. And then this whole thing with Gunko, sort of like kicking down on Brooke and the Straw Hats being surprised by the fact she's a fan. But again, that doesn't really go anywhere. The only thing that really comes of that entire situation with Summers and with Gunko is Summers just straight up being like, hey, I don't want to mess with the Straw Hats. Let's not get involved with the Yunko over here. We're here to take the Giants hostage. We're not looking to do anything else. I'm here to try to take over and get Jarl to make the decision so they can all agree to become their slaves. That's pretty much it. Looking at this one, I really don't have much to talk about in this one at all. I guess it's exciting that like Scopper and Robin are going to do something. Robin is obviously present near Summers right now. So that'd be cool to see some type of altercation with her and Summers. But realistically, considering the fact that he didn't manage to, but one of them, Gunko, managed to wipe out Jinbei and Brooke and Nami and Usopp right away. Unless there's something like a Devil Fruit Awakening coming for Robin, I don't really know what else Robin and Chopper could do against Summers. Unless he's significantly weaker than Gunko, I'm not really sure like what else is going to come from that. Obviously, she's pissed off by the fact that like Saul got defeated again too, on top of everything else that's going on. But like we're going to have to wait and see. Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. The Brooke thing is definitely interesting though. Like I would genuinely really love to see something come of that. But again, I feel like she just kind of kicked him to a side and now that whole thing was sort of thrown asunder and now he's over there with Jinbei and Nami and Usopp tied up. Like I feel like we could have spent maybe a little bit more time on the Brooke and Gunko stuff and a little less time with the kids. But that's kind of it. That's kind of it. That's kind of all that happens. There's some funny gags in this one, I guess. And Colin we now see is with the kids, but the one thing I was going to say here, we'll talk about this. This is on page 12 and 13. I'm reading over on Manga Plus right now because Viz didn't update in time for the stream. The one thing I will say is I feel like it's interesting when you're seeing it all laid out like this, that all of this action is simply happening on that one branch leading to the castle. That all of this is just present in this one area. And what I was going to bring up earlier during my reaction that I figured, you know what, I'll wait and I'll talk about this during the review, is I feel like, and you guys can maybe correct me if you disagree, but I kind of feel like we're not really going to get the full scope of Elbaf during this arc. That's kind of what I'm feeling. And I kind of came to that realization at the beginning of this arc with the pace at which things were moving and the number of characters that we were seeing. But I think I've resigned myself to the fact that like this is probably our primary action for the next at least 20 chapters. So I kind of feel like how it is right now, you're getting the stuff with the underworld, and the stuff with Loki and Luffy, and they're probably going to come to save the day a little bit later. But the primary action right now, right, like now that we're actually into it with Summers and the Celestial Dragons and things, is on this one branch. Now, obviously, this is one single branch of this absolutely massive island of Elbaf. You're even seeing like glimpses of the other areas of Elbaf, right? You're seeing that when the broadcast is going, and you're seeing a little bit of like the southeastern village. You're seeing a little bit of the northwestern village, but for the most part, I don't think we're really going to be seeing much of those. I kind of feel like if we are going to be seeing those, maybe it's when Final War actually happens. Because like I said, maybe Final War actually happens here, right? Maybe Final War happens at Elbaf and everything sort of comes to a head here. And that's going to be our opportunity to see the rest of it. But I feel like when you take into consideration all the stuff we've already done in Elbaf and all the stuff we've already seen, that realistically, the majority of the action during this arc is simply happening on like one branch, one area of the underworld, and then in that castle as well. And that's kind of it. A lot of the time is spent on these nightmare creatures, which makes sense. Of course, it shows, how scary Killingham is as well. I think, we're physically seeing Gunko putting in a lot of work. We're seeing physically Gunko taking out like 4 Strats at once. We're actually seeing Summers holding down Saul with the thorns and like smacking his face into the ground. Right? We're actually seeing them do things. All this stuff with Killingham is by proxy. Killingham's over there with the Walrus School right now, but like all these things with the nightmares and the cryptid things, like these are all basically his little proxy nightmare monsters that came from the kids' dreams. So it's not like, I don't think we're really seeing or fully understanding how impressive Killingham's powers are, because that's the other thing that I wanted to mention. Killingham, you have to remember, with 2 of these, right? With 2 of these, he's managing to take out the entire old giant pirate crew. Like, that's pretty crazy. With just 2 wives, mom giants, which, again, made for a funny gag that they're all scared of their wives, but still, with 2 of them, he managed to take out the entirety of the old giant pirates. That's kind of wild. Like, when you take that into consideration, that these are simply 2 of his creations, and these are the big warrior giants that were given like billion-berry bounties post-Egghead, and this is simply one dude. Like, I almost feel like Killingham is potentially the scariest of all of them. Don't leave until you watch the new episode. Amir, we talked about it earlier. We're watching the episode today on stream. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Again, I would like a longer arc. I wouldn't mind seeing more Elbaf fleshed out. I wouldn't mind to see more of this action, but I don't know. I'm not personally, this is just my own take, right? This is on my own take. I'm just not personally like super interested in this anymore. I kind of feel like this Celestial Dragon stuff, now that it's been like 3 or 4 chapters of seeing it, I think is sort of starting to be dragged out a little bit. I think like we know where the action is. We know what's happening here. Like, let's just get into it, right? We saw that whole chapter dedicated to Gunko putting Jinbei and the rest of them in their place. And nothing, it's just mostly been like the other characters walking. It's been like the children walking, and it's been like, again, we're getting glimpses of cool stuff with the Celestial Dragons, but I feel like I'm ready to get into the main action now, right? You're getting teases here and there of Summers being like, well, King Harold, you had to go and screw it all up. You're going to have to make your decision right now. What's happening? But I feel like it's being stretched out for the purpose of being stretched out now. And that's a little bit of a bummer considering, I've been very much an Elbaf defender. I'm somebody who feels like I like the pacing of Elbaf. I like the way the story is being set up. And I've been seeing time and time again, a lot of people mentioning that like, oh, they're falling off of it a little bit. They want to make sure they want to let the chapters build up before they get into it. And I'm kind of in a situation like that right now. Like, I'm reading this and it's like, fine. It's not a bad chapter by any means. None of these chapters have been bad. I don't feel like Elbaf is suffering from a lot of the same issues that some of the other post-time skip arcs have been suffering from. Because again, you got to take into consideration, it feels like it's been a really long time and it feels like it's been dragging because they've been walking towards that fire for like 5 or 6 chapters at this point. You had the stuff with Jinbei being a firefighter, putting out the fire. You're getting these other groups of giants being named like the firefighter giants. But at the same time, it's like, again, I don't know if it's just like because of where we are in the story at this point. I am less interested in the giants as characters, like these other, like the parents of these kids or these kids. I'm less interested in them than I am in the rest of Elbaf at large. Like I saw Green Tornado asking earlier, saying, what other parts of Elbaf would you like to see? Obviously, I'd love to see the stuff with the Rainbow Realm, but I feel like we're going to get that eventually. We're going to see more of the stuff with that. We're going to see, more of the stuff in the underworld. I feel like they set up that really cool concept of the people who were beaten by the people of Elbaf being thrown into the underworld. And we kind of jumped away from that the second that Loki was freed. And I feel like there's a lot of interesting story things that can be explored in that underworld with the characters that were once beaten by Elbaf and sort of creating this group and this dynamic that's down there right now. Because again, that's where our primary characters are. Luffy and Zoro and Sanji, they're all down there. And we haven't really gotten anything major from them outside of feeding Loki and healing him a little bit. But again, it's like a lot of teases of things like the past with Loki and Haruden, and then that not really going anywhere. Like, he's throwing in a lot of things that I'm actively interested in seeing more of. Whether it's Gabon and Robin fighting, whether it's, seeing where the Loki story is going, seeing where Harold is going, seeing what's going on with Jarl's past, excuse me. There's just like a lot of stuff. I agree with what you said with the underworld. I feel like we've been stuck at Loki's feet the whole time. Exactly. Also, I think the biggest disappointment really is the lack of follow-up on the mural. I feel like there were so many of us that were just thrilled finally seeing that and finally seeing like, oh, the story's moving into its final bit. Like, here we go. And then just kind of jumping away, even with Frankie and with Ripley, we kind of just jumped away from that. There was no real discussion of what happened there. It's like the nightmare things just came. Frankie took out a nightmare. Ripley was like, hey, great work. And then Lilith was cheering and Bonnie was cheering. And that's kind of it. We still got all the stuff with Kuma. Like, there's just a lot of loose ends here. There's a lot of loose ends. And I feel like, I don't necessarily feel like we need to continuously be reminded about these kids walking. You know what I mean? The kids walking is kind of feeling like the hallways in Punk Hazard a little bit. You know what I mean? Where we had all those giant children that were running, and like every other week we had the giant children running in Punk Hazard. It's kind of how things are feeling right now. I feel like what I've decided is anytime we see giant children, One Piece sort of takes a nosedive. I'm kidding, obviously. It's not in a nosedive right now. It's not in a nosedive. I'm exaggerating, obviously. But I just kind of feel like anytime we see giant kids, I feel like Oda just doesn't really know where he's going with the story. I don't know if it's like writer's block. I don't know if it's like he doesn't really know what else to flesh out. He just wants to focus on these kids. I don't know what's happening there. But I do feel like every time we see giant kids, bad things happen. So hopefully this finally gets resolved sometime soon. Again, it's going to be cool to actually see Robin do something. Hopefully they actually give her a fight. My concern and my worry is that they're setting up this thing with Robin right now, but we just had the chapter with Gunko taking out Jinbei and Brook and Nami and Usopp. Now, we already know how strong Jinbei is, but if Jinbei is getting washed by Gunko, I am gravely concerned for the way they're potentially starting up this thing with Robin. Because if Robin does something wild like awakens her devil fruit and then gets washed by Summers, and this was our tease at the end only for her to get washed again, it's like we're in the final saga now. There's no need to be holding back anymore. These characters should be at the strength level in which they're, taking out other major beings like this. And I think it would be cool to sort of see her get like an anger boost maybe from the stuff that happened to Saul. And I would love to see Robin, really showcased and given like something stronger. Because again, outside of what we got in Wano Country, which I thought was great, the stuff with Black Maria, I think like outside of the stuff that we got in Wano Country, Robin again has been pretty underutilized post time skip in terms of like situations in which she could have gotten one-on-one fights and didn't really get them. So again, I'm excited to see where this is going to go. I'm hoping that this gets set up somewhere and Robin does something really cool and maybe she awakens her devil fruit or does something. I don't think she's going to be washed. I do think she's fighting for her dream right now. I hope you're right, Heidi. I hope you're right. I really do. Because again, I don't want him to use Robin as a plot device after everything she's been through with Saul during this arc. But I'm worried because of the way he had Gunko wipe out the other four, that's kind of where this is setting up. So I'm like, I'm nervous. It's more that I'm nervous for Robin. It's more that I'm nervous for Robin than anything else. I'm nervous for where they're going to take that character. She's got to do something. I feel like they're setting her up. She's had all the stuff with Saul. She's got the good reason to be there. She wants to protect him. She was like, I wasn't able to protect him before. I'm able to protect him now. I want her to do something cool. And again, I feel like she's one of those members of the Straw Hat crew that really can, right? We saw that awesome demon awakening from her back in Wano Country. I think there's a lot more that she can do. I think a lot of people honestly sleep on Robin, if I'm being fair, which is another reason why I'm always upset whenever she doesn't really get the chance to do anything. Because when she was first introduced to the crew, her whole thing was assassination. Like that was the way she was set up. So if you're this assassin and you're here to protect the books of Ohara and Saul, you better do a good job of doing it. There's no more like waiting around for Luffy to save you. None of this. You do what must be done. And I'm excited to hopefully see that. I'm excited for them to hopefully give Robin either this big awakening or some type of awakening of hockey or something. Exactly. She's super powerful, but is heavily underutilized. Exactly. Terra Cafe is saying, I do think this will be a big moment for Robin. She has a renewed desire to protect her dream. And then that way, the hockey is based on willpower. So her willpower is going to be renewed and she'll eventually get hockey. I mean, she already does have hockey. Doesn't she? She already has armament hockey. That'd be cool and she has Fishman Karate. So she has armament hockey and Fishman Karate. So my assumption, maybe, I mean, that'd be cool if we see her with observation. She awakens like a strong observation. I don't think it was actually confirmed that she has hockey. Wait. She does not. Wait, what? She doesn't? What the heck was the stuff with the demons then in Wano Country? Oh. I mean, I would kind of hate if this is just set up and she just awakens hockey, like armament hockey or something. It was just shading. The Demonio was like red and the hockey anime made it clear it wasn't hockey, it was just red. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that. Again, it's hype. I'm happy. I want to see her get more powerful. But at this point, I kind of felt like that was a no-brainer. Like, to me, it was... I know people got upset at me when I said this. I felt like it was a no-brainer when they showed that Jinbei had it. I was like, well, yeah, no crap, Sherlock. Like, of course Jinbei has hockey. Like, he's Jinbei, bro. You know? I feel like Robin, again, is one of those characters where it's like, it's a no-brainer. Like, of course she does. So I don't necessarily know if, like, her showcasing that she has hockey is going to be enough for me at this point. There's got to be something else. Either, like, a Devil Fruit Awakening or, like, her going all out against Summers and really showcasing the level of her power. I think you guys are actually right. I think you are right in that she was not showcased to show hockey and confirmed just yet. I think you might be right. Yeah, I mean, again, it'll be cool for her character. I'm going to be happy to finally see it confirmed, but I don't know necessarily if I'd be like super hyped if that's her big reveal. And again, you're going up against an immortal celestial dragon right now. You're going to need a little more than just hockey, I feel like. But maybe if that wasn't hockey in Wano Country, right, and that was clarified in the anime that it was just red, and then maybe she does end up doing something more, and she like coats the demon mode with hockey and pairs that with like awakening her devil fruit and like growing a bunch of hands and observation, that would be sick. Or like, it would be wild if Robin got conquerors. She awakened conquerors within herself. That would be kind of crazy, right? Because the whole thing is like, we know that you don't learn conquerors hockey, that it's basically latent within you. That would be pretty wild if like within herself, knowing she has to protect Saul and has to protect Ohara, that she awakens all three forms, that would be enough. If she awakens conquerors, that would be enough for me. I would be like, okay, this would be sick. Yeah, like if they do a reveal where she has all three, that would be super hype. Then I'd be on board with it. But if it's something simple as like, oh, we're going to show a thing here where like she's going to, you know, go armament mode and slap him or like use some observation to get out of the way a little bit, like fine. But I do think there's also cool opportunity with her in tandem with her devil fruit to utilize hockey as well, because her whole devil fruit is like clones. So if she can create like 100 clones of herself, all, you know, imbued with armament hockey and all utilizing observation hockey and zooming all over the place and trying to stop Summers, That could be kind of cool. We barely even talked about Scopper. But I think a big reason why is because I feel like Scopper is sort of just being held for a cool moment, you know? Scopper, I think, being the one to maybe save the kids would be pretty cool. Finally get us out of the situation. Basically, if no one else has been able to stop them, he's probably going to be the one to stop them. But we know that the only way to stop him is by taking out Killingham. So he's going to, and Gunko too, because Gunko's the one with the arrow. So you've got to take out all three. So then basically we've got Robin and we've got Gabon. And that would be really cool if we end up seeing like big 1v1s against these Celestial Dragons. One of them being Gabon, one of them being Robin, and one of them maybe being Luffy coming back after the stuff with Loki to take out the third and final one. And then all three of these Celestial Dragons being wiped out and then being forced to call Shamrock back. Like that could be a kind of cool way to continue on with the story arc. I would like to see that, you know. Have this whole big setup of like, oh, look at how strong these Celestial Dragons are. Look at them. They've been wiping out these Triad characters. Look at all the stuff that's happening. And then boom, you see the three of them wipe them out. That would be neat. Again, there's cool directions the story can go in, which is why I'm not like super down on the chapter, which is why I was like, nah, this one's fine. Some of the other ones have been fine too. You know, it's just setup. And that comes with time. You know, we're going to eventually get more information. But as it stands right now, I mean, I'm not like jumping off the wall super excited about this one. I just want to see Robin do something. You know what I mean? I want to see Robin do something. I think Usopp and Brook versus Gunko is going to be a matchup. I don't think so. If Jinbei and Nami with the two of them got wiped by Gunko, I don't see a world in which Brook and Usopp take out Gunko. I don't know. It would be crazy if Shamrock got here and said, I'm here to stop this war, and has a type of moment similar to Shanks, but then shows up and it's like the reversal. That would be cool. If at the end of all this, they take out all three of these Celestial Dragons, Shamrock shows up and says, I'm here to stop the war, and that's what actually kicks off by the war, that would be neat. I would be super down for that. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Well, cool. Cool. I think that wraps everything else. I think we're chilling. I don't really think there's much more to talk about with this chapter. So, with that being said, let me get into the thumbnail reveal and then get into some of the Nakama questions and the super chats and see what's going on over here. So let's see. My assumption is he probably went for a Robin thumbnail this week. He probably went for like Robin and not Gunko. He probably went for Robin and Scopper. Let's see. Open this up. James thumbnail art. Let's see. Oh, I totally called it. There you go. Totally called it. Totally called it. Here we go. Boom. Check this out. Boom. That's actually a really cool shot as well. I like the shading that he used here. You got Robin and you got Gabon. I also like the yellow and the purple. That's not really a color scheme that you see a lot in thumbnails. That looks really, really cool. Did a great job with this one. And I also think that makes sense that this is the thing he focused on. Because again, this is kind of the only big thing coming out of this chapter where I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes. I'm excited to see what's going to happen here. Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, Gabon and Robin. I also like the dynamic pose of that one too, with like her hand sort of coming off the other screen. Yeah, it did a good job with her eyes as well, making her look kind of terrifying. And I like the purple. I guess, yeah, we do know her color scheme now is the other thing, right? Because since the last time that he drew Robin in the thumbnail, with the Elbaf clothes, we've gotten the confirmation of the Elbaf color schemes thanks to the cover thing. Right? The cover of the new volume. So that's nice. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a really, really nice thumbnail. And then you got Gabon in the back. This is also, I think, the third time I believe he's been able to throw Gabon. Or no, this is the second time he's drawn Gabon. He did Gabon once previously with like the hat during the first chapter. And then now he's drawing him again here. Again, I want to see what's going to happen. My worry with this chapter is, again, we don't actually see this next chapter. That we just sort of move away from this. And we don't actually see this paid off. Because, again, that's been the case the past 3 or 4 chapters now, is they've been teasing things that will happen in the future that simply have not been paid off yet. Whether it's the mural, whether it's the King Harold thing, whether it's the Loki and Haruden flashback, and now this stuff. I'm just hoping at least next week we get something regarding one of those 4. That's my hope. That's my hope. I hope we get something. All right. Let us see. Great job once again, James. You don't miss. James never misses. You know that. All right. Let's see over here. I'm going to start with the Nakama questions over in the Discord, which, by the way, if you guys are not already in the Discord server, do !Discord in the chat. It will give you a link to join the Discord server. It's open. You guys can hop in. Just make sure when you join the Discord server to read the rules and click the mammoth roll, because if you don't click the mammoth roll, you're not going to get access to any of the rooms. So make sure to click the mammoth roll. I've seen a lot of people joining the Discord recently being like, why can't I speak? Why can't I share images? Why can't I do things? And it's because you didn't read the rules. Read the rules, click the mammoth roll, and you'll be good to go. Okay, with that being said, all of my members at the Nakama tier and up get to ask their weekly questions. So I'm going to have all of these questions be read out first. We're going to start with the Nakama questions. Clax said, forgive me for repeating stuff you mentioned. I started typing this before you started reviewing. Basically, for a connective tissue chapter, I think this was all right. I feel like it wasn't major, but it was set up most likely. Like, we did have to see Brooke learning Gunko was a Soul King fan, but I'm confused as to how much this will actually lead to something important later on. In early chapters, we'd get a lot of setup that came back way later and was super crucial, but I'm not sure how much of this we can actually do, considering how close we are to the end of the manga overall. I'm guessing we're not going to get a lot of interesting setup until we start gearing up for Final War. Yeah, I could see that. I also agree with you. I don't necessarily know how important the Gunko-Brooke connection could be beyond what we've already seen here. If we've seen that Gunko is willing to kick Brooke and take down Brooke, you know, I don't really know what else they can do with that. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Stefan Dog said, are you worried for how Elbaf is going to turn out? Because I agree, the last few chapters have been slowing down, and for me personally, I feel like this arc hasn't lived up to what I thought it would be. I didn't really feel this with Egghead, so what are you thinking? Yeah, I feel like Egghead, the pacing was pretty great. I think the only time we ever got the lull in pacing was around the time of the timer, but that was towards the end of the arc already. And by that point, we had already had so many big reveals, and that eventually led to, like, the Gorosei showing up. So for me, I feel like that's pretty cool, you know? Like, us seeing the Gorosei showing up, I feel like that was enough of a payoff. And we kind of got away from what I was worried was going to happen at the end of Egghead. We didn't really get that. I think the end of Egghead, for the most part, really did pay off. But we're still in early days of Elbaf, right? You got to remember, this has only been going on since, like, September of last year. So we are still very, very, very early days in terms of what I think we're going to see here. You know, matchups, all this other stuff. Again, Elbaf is in that weird situation where, because we know its role within the story overall, and because the Celestial Dragons are here, this could directly lead into Final War, and we could be into Elbaf moving into the next story arc. So maybe that's a big reason why we're not seeing a lot of the rest of the island, is because that could potentially just lead into stuff moving into the future. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. Rob said, welp, Gunko and Brooke met. I'm actually glad Oda didn't go for the classic Brooke joke here. Oh, yeah, because you guys were all saying you all thought that Brooke was going to ask to see her panties, right? So that didn't end up happening. I'm glad Oda didn't go for the classic Brooke joke and instead focused on Gunko wanting Brooke to be her music slave. But I am curious, why does Brooke feel like he recognizes Gunko? Feel like he recognizes it. Well, maybe because she was at one of his concerts or something? That's maybe the only thing I'm thinking of. Let me go back real quick. Let me see this panel. Why does Brooke seem like he recognizes Gunko? Poor Saul's been tormented. How could you let this happen? I feel like there's something about that woman, but maybe it's just my imagination. Right? It's her, the zombie girl. Listen up, you. I want you to write songs for me for the rest of my life. You're going to be a slave. Does she know about Brooke's music? And he says, I'm sorry, young lady, but from the day that Captain Luffy bestowed my second life, I've been dedicated to no one but him. I'd rather die than live without honor. I mean, that's it. It's just his... Are you guys talking about like his one line where he says, I feel like there's something about that woman, but maybe it's just my imagination? I think that's literally just a lead into the fact that she's a fan, right? I feel like it's got to be that. It doesn't really feel like there's anything else setting up to that, especially considering we get the Gunko and Brooke thing. My assumption is like she's shown up to a concert once or something. Like he's either seen her before at like a fan meetup or something. But I don't think there's like much more to it than that. I wouldn't read too much into that line, you know. I think, again, that goes to show the chapters maybe a little bit more, the discussion around the chapters maybe a little bit more subdued. If we're looking that much into that to be the topic of discussion during the week. This like one offhand line. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not reading into it that much. I feel like it kind of paid off in the very next thing, so we'll see. Again, I feel like that's sort of the struggle when you do weekly One Piece manga content. Like, this is why I do these all as a big live stream now instead of doing separate reviews and doing separate reactions. It's because I kind of feel like you got to grasp for straws sometimes where you're doing it week to week. Yeah, it's like trying to find stuff that isn't there to just sort of like create conversation. It's sort of what it seems like a little bit. But yeah, maybe. I don't wonder. I didn't really wonder about it all that much as to like why he said, oh, there's something off about her. Again, it could be anything. It could be like she showed up to a concert or something. But I don't think it's a situation in which it's like, like they've never met previously outside of fan interactions. I don't believe like there's some connection there within Marijoa. We know his whole time of like being a royal guard has never really been brought up again. That might be kind of cool to see that, but we'll see. Or maybe he recognizes something within her soul, right? Like we've had that conversation about maybe some part of Imu being placed into all these celestial dragons, and that's what grants them their immortality and grants them their powers. Like it could be that. Maybe him as the Soul King, he recognizes that a piece of Imu's soul is in her, maybe. But yeah, I don't really know. How does Brook know about the God Knights? Well, he knows about the God Knights because, again, we know that he's had a role as a royal knight in the past, in his past life. So that's how we know that he knows that. What is this? Oh, this is still from Rob. Rob just said, also, Saul calling the Holy Knights immortal makes me wonder if they have the same thing going on as the Five Elders. Most definitely. I mean, we saw that last chapter with the destruction of the top half of Gunko. My thought is that maybe Imu has complete control over Abyss Circles, and whoever goes through it is maybe why the Five Elders and Holy Knights are considered immortal. But aside from that, did you notice that one of the kids, Olaf, is Oimo's grandson? Yes, we got that one panel a little bit earlier on where he was jumping towards Broggy saying, that's my grandson, Captain. I'm honestly more interested in who the kids are. I'm honestly more interested in whose kids the kids are rather than who each kid is. Complete agreement 100%. Yes. I'm much more interested in the family relations and the ties to characters that we already know than setting up more new characters. Complete agreement, Rob. Complete agreement. Yeah. Complete agreement. J-Man Joestar said, I'm not expecting Robin to defeat Summer since he's a very bad matchup for her as a close combat fighter. But hopefully, when Gabon gets there, he's maybe going to show her or us, the audience, at least how to damage the God Knights. It's kind of a cool idea. I like that maybe he knows something else. He knows the way to counter him. I do expect her to somehow save the kids, though, at the very least. I hope so. Again, Robin needs a good win. And going off of what J-Man said, Aaron also said, could Scopper be the key to unlocking Hockey with the Straw Hats during this arc? So the remainder of the Straw Hats basically unlocking Hockey and training up armament and observation through him. That would be cool. I'd be down for that. I would be very happy if by the end of this arc, every single Straw Hat had Hockey. But we know that something else is going on with Gabon's Hockey. We know there's something else going on there with Conquerors and what was happening when he was fighting with Luffy, where he's basically like, here, whatever, take the key. We know there's something else happening. So I wouldn't be opposed to like some type of training montage during this arc where Gabon is with all the Straw Hats and says, look, before we go into Final War, you need to know all of this. And we get sort of like a Rocky Eye of the Tiger type deal with Gabon and the other giants and them all training. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. They're all training with him. I think that would be neat. My other theory is that Joanna is Loki and Harold's sister, and that's why Loki killed him. Let me read that again. My theory is that Joanna, so the girl with the horns, is Loki and Harold's sister, and that is why Loki killed them. And that is why Loki killed them. What, you mean the other giants? Wait. Let me see what Joanna says. I'm confused by what you mean by this. Hold on. So we're talking on page... What page is this? Second to last double spread. Oh, Joanna, at least you have parents. I mean, maybe she's got the horns. It looks like Skald and Olaf do too, though. You can see the horns on both of them. Skald's might be a helmet. Olaf's definitely looks like they're coming out of his head, though. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'm not going to write it off. It could be. Maybe she is related to them. I didn't read into it like that, though. And it would be kind of strange because she seems very, very young. And knowing, like, when the giants strung up Loki on the tree. And when all this stuff happened, it would seem weird if she was their sister, unless she was like newborn at the time in which Harold was killed. But even then, she's like, how old are these kids? They're like 50 something. Well, Colin is 20 and the king died 14 years ago. Yeah, so I mean, if she's Colin's age and she was born and she was around for like 6 years, I guess the time thing is kind of throwing me off a little bit. I mean, she could. She might be. I'm not opposed to the idea. Okay, we got some super chats. Let me read these out. I want to see what you guys are thinking about this chapter. Also, I want to go back to the awesome thumbnail art this week, just because James did a really good job before we get to this anime episode. So we're going to come back over here. Hold on. Boom. There we are. Let me read this. This is, let me see. All right. Kicking things off with Alejandro Solis, who said, do you think Angie should have told the cops about their book collection? I think these 10 kids could be the future warrior pirates. Do you think Angie should have told the cops about their illegal book collection? About the library? And do you think the 10 kids could be future warrior pirates? I mean, yes, to the future warrior pirate thing. I don't know what you mean about the book collection thing. I don't know what you mean there. Zoro Arctivus says, is Gunko grabbing her chest in pain after kicking Brooke? And did Brooke recognize her? I didn't notice the holding her chest in pain thing, but I'll take a look at that real quick. Also, by the way, thank you, Jeremiah Nakama. Appreciate you becoming a member. Greatly appreciate that. Let me take a look at this. Is Gunko holding her chest in pain? Well, I know that other donation's talking about O'Hara's books, but I don't know what they mean about, like, telling the cops about an illegal book collection. I don't understand. You just mean, like, should she have said anything to the Celestial Dragons? Is that what you mean? Look out, Brooke. Okay, she kicks him. And she goes, ugh. Brooke, are we good now? Killingham, go ahead. I mean, I don't know. That is kind of an interesting thing. I didn't notice that before. I'm glad you brought that out. If you look on page 4 and 5 of chapter 1147, you can see her grasping at her chest after kicking Brooke. So maybe it's just like it hurts her heart because she's a fan. Means she's in pain, is the kanji. Interesting. I do wonder if it is just because of the fact that she's a fan and she doesn't want to attack her favorite person. Or if there's maybe something more to that. But it's an interesting thought. Yeah. I like that you brought that up. Good work, Zaro. Roly Poly Oly said Gunko wanting Brooke as a slave oddly mirrors Hogback and Sindri a little bit. But I do hope that Usopp does something that's going to make the 3 knights freak out and warn the other knights about him. Almost like Dressrosa. Yeah, I'm not seeing a situation in which Usopp is going to be scary to the knights until something happens with like Loki and Luffy. I think Usopp's like power boost or like the lie that he has to tell in order to scare these other characters is going to have to be once he comes in contact with Loki and the Hammer and with these other major characters. I feel like as it stands right now, him just being like wrapped up, I don't really know like how Usopp can get out of the situation with the other Straw Hats and like somehow scare the other Celestial Dragons. But who knows? Never say never. Later Storm donated and said, we waited for Elbaf for 20 years. And now it's going to be a short arc. We spent way too long in Wano country, and Wano honestly should have been the shorter one, and we should have spent more time here. Sure. You know, I agree. I could see why people could feel that way. Austin Smith donated and said, I'm willing to bet that Brooke defeats Gunko with music or a song. Again, I sure hope so. With the way they're getting wiped, though, right now, I don't know how they get out of this situation without the help of Gabon and Robin. Tech Zero also donated and said, yo-ho-ho, it does feel like they're setting up something big for our boy Soul King. I don't know where you guys are saying that it seems like they're setting up something big. I don't know. This seems like wishful thinking. Maybe I'm just speaking from the voice of like, I've been reading this weekly for a long time. And I feel like I just want to temper my expectations. is how I'm feeling right now. I don't want to set up my expectations for like something major with Brooke happening sometime soon. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of people are reading into the Brooke stuff, but I really do feel like it is mostly just a setup for the gag with Gunko being a fan of hers. I mean, being a fan of his. And that maybe at some point it'll come back to play at the very end of everything. But I'm not seeing a world in which like Brooke suddenly is going to 1v1 Gunko. I don't know where people are getting that out of this chapter. Even with him, like, if he did potentially know her before, I don't know how that could lead into where we are right now and, like, propel us forward if they're getting wiped and Jinbei and Nami are with them. You know what I mean? I think had the characters been split up at a point where then, like, we're already into a 1v1 and Brooke has to overcome the situation, then I could maybe buy that. But, yeah, people are getting vibes of Whole Cake Brooke from this chapter. Look, Whole Cake Brooke was amazing. He was a different beast. MVP Brooke was fire. Also, Roberto was saying, in addition to the relation thing, some people are saying that maybe Joanna is the daughter of Loki. Okay, sure. You know, sure. Maybe she's Loki's kid. That would be an interesting twist. You know, I wouldn't mind that. But I feel like she would maybe be ostracized a little more if she was the child of Loki, considering all the other things that were happening within the school. You know, where some of them were ostracizing Colin for being like half giant, half human. We'll see. Yeah, at this point, why not? We'll see. It's good. It's good to be excited for things, you know, not to hamper people's excitement for the chapter at all or hamper people's potential excitement for where the story is going. I just feel like with what context we got within the past couple chapters, how certain things were set up and what we've got right now, I'm not holding my breath for something amazing for Brooke when I realistically think people are maybe setting their expectations a little bit too high for him. When he's plain as day telling us on the page here, all four of them are getting wiped out by her. I feel like maybe if we see a big jump from Robin next chapter, if we see her really go out of her way and do something and get, you know, emboldened and she gets her new hockey, then maybe I could see a situation in which Brooke somehow like utilizes more hockey as well and goes against her and plays on the idea that she's a fangirl to get her to not attack him. But then also the direction stuff is kind of a misdirection with the stuff with Zoro. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much all there is, though, in this chapter. I think that's all there is. We also have been talking for an hour already. We haven't gotten to the anime episode yet. So, with that being said, or also, hold on. I do also want to open up some of these. Well, you know what? Maybe we save this for a little bit later. We'll do that at the end of the stream. I think people are waiting for me to get into this anime episode. So let's get into this anime episode. I don't want to make you guys wait any longer. Let's do this. Here we go. Because people are saying this is a good anime episode. So I'm excited to see this one. All right. Alvin said, I think Usopp's going to be the hero this arc. Well, maybe. Maybe. It'd be cool if he was. All right. Here we go. All right. Maybe you should do the unboxing next week when you only have the episode to react to. Oh, that's true, actually. I should maybe save this for next week. That's a good call. That's true, because we have a whole anime to get through. That's a good idea. Maybe we should do that during next week's stream. That's a good idea. All right. Austin also donated and said, there's a theory that Gunko was actually a princess from the kingdom Brooke used to belong to. The kingdom was whipped out because of the royal guards, and Brooke wasn't there. Oh, wiped out. You mean to say wiped out. You wrote whipped out. The kingdom was wiped out because the royal guards Brooke wasn't there. So the kingdom, so you're saying she was maybe a princess from the kingdom that he was once the royal guard for. Sure. I'd be down for that. That would be a cool twist on the story. I'd be totally down for that. All right, let me open this up. Here we go. Austin sent the super chat you missed. That's the one I just read. All right, here we go. Boom. Open this up. Where is this? Boom. Gonna open this up as well. Camera. Where's my camera? There we go. Filter. Chroma key. Very good. Close. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. There we are. Very nice. All right. And we'll adjust everything and then we should be good to go. Let me bring this on down. organizing this. Just making sure you got to it before the episode. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for letting me know. Like I said, I read it, but I just wanted to make sure. All right, here we go. We're going to do this. I think Gunko could be Yorkie's granddaughter. Now we're just saying things to say things, I feel like. Which, again, I feel like that's when, for me personally, is when things get sort of a little less interesting in the fandom, is when people are just sort of like scraping for anything then, like just making up a bunch of stuff. All right, here we go. Crunchyroll. Boom. Open this on up. Grab this. And let's see this chapter. Now, you guys are hyping this one up. You said this one's really, really good, so I'm very excited to see it. Make sure the filter is on as well. Chat's going. Flipped filter. Where's the other logo? Flip display. No logo there. Take this off. Okay. Getting everything ready. We'll do this live reaction. Where, I'm seeing the episode number there. Subtitle layer, camera, featured chat, name tab, subtitle layer, alert box scene, timer, camera, featured chat, logo. What are all these logos? Why are there all these logos on here? Verticals. Oh, episode number. Here we are. 27. Okay. And now, meanwhile, I'll make sure that this is off. I got no desktop audio. I'll make sure that the vertical is going. All right. Here we go. Boom. 11:27. Again, you guys are hyping this one up, so I am assuming it's going to be pretty good. Let me also add one more thing. I don't know why this image isn't showing up. Image 2. This is like our little logo. Wait a minute. Why is this not doing this? Oh, here we go. Pictures. There we go. Boom. Make this a little smaller. Lock it in. Put it behind me. And we are good to go. There we are. Put it a little bit higher up. Lock it in. Boom. Okay. You guys ready? Let's do this. Aaron said I got to lurk for a while since I'm driving home. Hey, drive safe, Aaron. Drive safe. All right. Here we are. One Piece manga chapter. Where is this? Continue watching season 13. Oh, that's because Jimmy was watching the newer episodes. I see. All right, hold on. Egghead current. Here we go. Oh, this is going to be hype. 11:27. Luffy versus Kizaru, a fierce kaleidoscope battle. I'm hype. All right, docs. Boom. Open this last one up. Okay. And one more thing I realized I got to do. Sorry about this, chat. One other little thing. Wait a minute. Why is this not working? Image. Oh, because I got to make a new image. Here we go. Background. Here we go. Background. Actually, I'm going to make this image slightly smaller. Have it so it takes up the rest of this. Very good. Very, very good. Okay. You guys ready? All right. I'm going to get things started. 11:27. Here we go. Boom. Also, I'm seeing there's a... There we are. All right. Here we go. Move this down. Whoop. There we are. Adjust this a little bit. Make sure my green screen isn't freaked out. And get my headphones going. Man, I'm stoked for this. I have been very much looking forward to this episode. I think this is going to be good. Okay, here we are. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. Nice. Here we go. One Piece anime episode 11:27. Okay. I want to mention again, too, I really do love this new opening. The new ending is probably one of my all-time favorites, but I really do like the new opening, too, with the focus on Bonnie. Seth says, you're not ready? Okay. Come on, members, put your little knock commas in the chat. Get everything ready. Here we go. I can't wait till the Holy Knights get whooped. Robin's the one who fought Black Maria, so I'd like to see her do more. That would be great. I hope Sabo shows up. That would be cool. Sabo showing up would be neat. Even ignoring the focus on Bonnie, the music is really good. Oh, yeah, the music's excellent. I suppose. Dear Bonnie, man, once you get into the Kuma flashback, I know this is going to be fantastic. Did this week have an episode? That's what we're watching right now. That is literally what we're watching right now. Also, I'm just noticing something. Wait a minute. Sorry about this, everybody. Hold on. My episode layer thing for the copyright filter completely messed up. And I want to take care of this while I'm still not getting completely creamed in terms of copyright issues. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. I was like, why did it look clearer than normal? That's exactly why. That's why. All right. Now we're locking that in place. Here we go. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I was like half the screen was still covered. Love watching your channel, Roger. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Are you watching this on Crunchyroll? I am. Also, let me click the timer back up again. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Didn't even notice? Yeah, see, it just comes with time. I notice these things. All right, here we go. 2, 1, and boom. Perfect sync. Perfect. I'm very excited to watch. You're bopping to my Minecraft music in the background. Minecraft music. Okay. Luffy versus Kizaru. A fierce kaleidoscopic battle. Let's go. I also saw some people complaining at the end of the last episode they thought the animation wasn't particularly good, but I actually liked it. I thought it looked pretty decent. Obviously, it's not going to be one-to-one to the manga panels, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm not handing over Old Man Apple, but I'd appreciate it if you just let me do my job. I don't think so. I'm an emperor of the sea now. I'm going to do what I got to do. Let's go, Luffy. Whoa. Oi, 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 oi. Oh, the little bit of his sunglasses fall in the other direction. Winding him up. I almost feel bad for Kizaru a little bit here. Hey, go easy on me. Come on. There he goes. Flying through the sky. Look at him go. I finally got to see Luffy-san's new form with my own eyes. Oh, but wait a minute. I don't have eyes. Get some Brooke jokes this week. Brooke is so back? Again, I hope so. After this last chapter. I hope so. They're making Robin look really cute here, too. Oh, off she goes. We know where this is leading, though. The best part of the arc is where this is leading. It is still wild because I feel like by this point, you know, if had we not had that 6-month break, we would have been well into that by now. It's just weird, like how we're seeing things now. I'm used to the timing of certain things in the manga and then in the anime, and because I wasn't really watching the anime for a while there, not watching the Fishman Island stuff and not watching the stuff leading up to the stuff with Fishman Island, I feel like I hadn't seen the anime in a super long time. So in my brain, I'm like, oh no, we should be much farther. But actually, this makes perfect sense that this is where we are currently. Atlas, I'm going to go with you. You can't possibly. This whole thing is about them trying to kill you. Come on, let's just wait here. I'm getting a little more used to Frankie's voice now, too. It threw me off last week, but again, that's because I haven't been watching. But I actually don't mind it right now. You made up your mind. Addison can deactivate the barrier. There's Sanji. I always forget how funny Jinbei's Hawaiian shirt looks. Where's he watching the episode? I can't find it on Crunchyroll. It's on Crunchyroll. It's definitely on Crunchyroll. That's where I'm watching it. Go to the Egghead arc. Go to the most recent episode. It's right there. I love this theme for her, too. I can't believe Luffy was able to lob the formidable Kizaru so far. Oh, you have 1126 as your first one? Must be because I'm using the Italian one and it's still not translated yet. Oh, yeah, no, it's not out in Italy yet. It's on the English one and it's in the Japanese, but it's not, well, it's not even English. It's not an English dub. It's just on the English Crunchyroll. Ooh, that was a nice little sequence right there with Bonnie. Animated that quite nicely. Good sound effects with this, too. Uh-oh. They know who she is. Boom, right in the face. This is actually a really cool sequence. Wait a minute. Yo, Bonnie, okay. The choreography in this is really good with the kick flips and the... Wow, okay. In an episode titled Luffy versus Kizaru, I wouldn't have expected the Bonnie sequence to be the highlight so far, but man, this is great. The little spin on his hat, too. We've all been turned into children or old people. This is the most animation Bonnie's ever gotten? Yeah, it looks good. Good choice of music in that sequence as well. Found Sentimaru. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Because that last episode prior to the one that I watched last week was Sentimaru Kizaru. That's right. That was still crazy getting thrown all the way up to that dome. Seeing a lot of this stuff again, though, does remind me like just how good this arc was and how much stuff happened here. Sentimaru's voice is always so funny to me, too, because it always sounds like Luffy a little bit. Obviously not excitable Luffy, but it sounds like the same voice actor, if that makes sense. The dome is weak if it can't take out a 12-year-old, but Luffy almost died twice. I like these little cut-ins, too. These are very neat. I mentioned this last week, but it's like the manga coloring where they almost make it look like it's one of Oda's spreads. It's cool. So we're already halfway through. Okay. Don't get in our way. Oh, Zoro and Lucci. Oh, are we going to see this fleshed out? That would be cool. I would like that. I'd like to see more of this. We saw the little bit in the manga, but if they flesh this out to be like full-on fight, would be quite cool. Okay, wait a minute. I'm up. I'm seated. Because of that animal stench. All right, let's go. Zoro versus Lucci. Ooh. It's also awesome to see Zoro holding this hone against an awakened Devil Fruit user. Wow. The Dragon Ball sound effect in this sky. Let's go, Zoro. Woo! And the music kicking in. Woo! I love this scraping the swords against the armament hockey. Swirling his way down. Very, very cool. I love that Luffy's just watching him from the sky. You want my help here? Zoro's probably like, no, I got this. Let's go, Zoro. Just focus on Kizaru. I really like the weird style they're drawing Lucci in here, too. Ooh. If this is the best you can do, don't expect to get a chance to go up against our captain again. All right. You're surely strong enough to be number 2 of the Emperor of a Sea. Killing you will be rewarding. This man said, you're Katakuri level. Easy. Oh, here's the sequence I was waiting for with Kizaru on the water. Ooh, great use of the rainbows, too. Skimming across the bottom. Uh-oh, I'm going to fall into the sea. What to do? Ooh! Okay! Let's go. This is what I was waiting for. Yasakani's sacred jewel. Kizaru. Oh, I'm loving the effects of the light speed. Doing a great job with that, and the music swelling up. Bro! Even like the rainbow effects coming off of the prism. Oh, man. And the light... that sequence of Gear 5 Luffy, too. Oh, man. Yo! This is looking fire, dude. The rainbow effects coming off of him. This looks like a sequence out of one of the movies. I love this. Wow, 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 wow. And the pairing. Dude, the pairing of like the Looney Tunes circle as well with the rainbows. Poor Luffy, watch out. Bro, there is so much going on here. Even that one little sequence with the red clouds. The Looney Tunes sound effects of doing the whip. Wow. Dude, this is incredible. Super fluid. The light is shining too bright. Oopsie. Watch out, Luffy. Dude. Oh, and really showcasing the scale of Luffy here, too. Going Gear 5, slapping down on him. Wiping out his little shadow clones one by one. Oh, it's time. This is so clean with them running on him. Not so bad. Just wiping them away, swatting them like flies. You got this, Luffy. I love that they used the fart effect too as he's blowing the wind. Oh my goodness, man. And using the clones of himself to whip himself back with all the little heads on the back of the light beams. Which one is the real one? Wow. It's just also wild, too, to think we're finally here in the anime where you got Luffy versus an admiral. And he's actually putting up a fight, dude. Whoo! The Dawn going through all of them with the Dawn stamp. Ooh, that Dawn stamp was nice. Great. That's going to be a gif right there, too. Of the reflection of the light coming off of Luffy. Kizaru. You better watch out. He said, I can't deal with you. I can deal with them instead. I was the one who got tricked. Cool sequence, too, of like Nami and Brook holding up their swords. Where did Vegapunk go? Don't you worry about it. Don't look happy. Poor Usopp just completely... Oh, man. Wow, that whole sequence with Kizaru really was extremely well done. Here he comes. In the Vega Tank 8. I love the bounce effect of the little cloud wheels, too. And Atlas is in the back with him. Sanji's giving chase. Don't touch her, you damn Navy soldiers. I'm coming to save you now, Bonnie. How could I leave a child like her in the lurch? A child? Where do you think you're going? Ooh. Whoa. We're in danger, Stella. Luffy eating the little light beams. I forgot about that. Eating them like crackers biscuits, man. All right, Shogun Frankie, let's go. What in the world? The light's popping out of his eyeballs and his nostrils? Holy mackerel. That looks painful, dude. My man Luffy's getting LASIK eye surgery in the middle of this episode. Whew! Again, really great backing track. I don't remember this one at all. And this little section of it almost sounds like something out of Dragon Quest, doesn't it? I'm still kind of blown away by how good that Bonnie sequence was. Ba-da-da. All pacifistas. Vegapunk now has a new order. Wipe out all Navy soldiers on the island. Execute Order 66. Uh-oh. This isn't the first time they've brought up the hierarchy, though, right? Have they? I feel bad for that soldier. Oh, here's Saturn. Ooh, ooh, ooh! That is a good cliffhanger. And Saturn's eyeballs behind the to be continued. Well done. That was a solid episode, man. Between the Bonnie stuff, the Luffy Kizaru stuff, and the ending, couldn't ask for more. That's fire. Very, very satisfying. Again, I mentioned last week, but I love this ending song as well. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I loved that. I'll definitely upload like a little bit of a reaction short to some of the Luffy Kizaru stuff because that looked incredible. Really incredible. But in the meantime, we're going to end it here. Obviously, I don't want to watch the preview. I'm going to wait until the next week. Of course, I'll be back next week, 8 a.m., same time. We're going to be live reacting to the new episode of One Piece next week as well. And we're going to be opening up these really cool Feenies hidden dissectables that I got sent. We're going to be opening these up next stream as well. I think that was a good point, Rob. I think mentioning that during the stream, saying, you know what, maybe we can unbox them because we only have an episode instead of a manga chapter. I think that's a good way to go about it. Yeah. So that is what we're going to do. Thank you once again, everybody. If you like my One Piece content, if you like my One Piece streams, if you like my manga chapter reactions, my anime episode reactions, and you want more of these, make sure to leave a like on the video. Let me know in the comments down below. What was your favorite thing about today's manga chapter? What was your favorite thing about today's anime episode? Let me know. And until next time, I will talk to you all later. Nakama, and have a great rest of your Sunday. All right, bye, everybody. Take care. Au revoir. Goodbye.